Hey there, YouTube. Ghost Jake here with you today. How's your day going? And how's your night going on so far? I hope you are doing good. Anyway, I just got done watching The Exorcist. Season 2, Episode 4. And now we're going to start my review on episode 4 of The Exorcist season 2. Okay, first off, before I start, I apologize if you might have a tiny bit of trouble hearing me. My voice is kind of affected. I kind of got a little sick on Wednesday, but I'm a lot better, but my voice might still be a little affected. Okay, but anyway, let's start. Now where episode 4 picks up, where Father Bennett and Father Bennett and that girl he was supposed to find, they were they were in her underground information center where they were seeing Sister what's her name, Dolores, I believe. Seeing her, and she was, and they were interrogating her, and she was talking about and she was talking about what has been going on with the information she's been getting, pretty much, right? Anyway, now we're going to Seattle. When we're in Seattle, it picks up. Seattle picks up where with Father Marcus and Father Thomas in it picks them in this hotel room, waiting for Harper and waiting for Rose, because they are planning on taking Harper to Andy's. Now, in case you don't remember who Harper is, I'll fill you in really fast. Harper is the little girl in episode 3, where in the very beginning of episode 3, they thought she was possessed, and then it just turned out that her mother was crazy and she was perfectly fine. So that's who Harper is. In case you don't remember from episode 3 who she is, she's the girl that Father Thomas and Father Marcus thought they were possessed. Now we're going to Andy's island, right? And he's informing the rest of his adoptive children that a new arrival is going to be coming. A new arrival is going to be coming to the island before too terribly long, and that is going to be Harper. And Andy asked Verity if if she and Harper can share a room. And Verity, pretty much is a little hesitant at first, but she ultimately agrees to it, right? And then pretty much Father Thomas and Father Marcus arrive by boat to the island. of to the island, to Andy's island, Andy's house is on the island, bringing Harper to Andy's. They pretty much arrive, and Father Marcus and Father Thomas and like introduce everyone, and they're like, "Oh, okay, right." Pretty much introduce everyone, and get introduced to everyone, and Father Thomas knows that there is something not quite right with there's something not quite right with there's something weird going on in the island, right? There is something weird going on in the island, and while Thomas is exploring, and if Thomas is exploring the house, carefully trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and he can sense it's like some stuff started to happen, and some stuff actually is starting to happen. Ironically, how the stuff starts to happen the moment they arrive, which is kind of funny in my mind. But what can he do, right? Anyway, and then we see a nice little scene with Father. We see a nice little scene with Father Thomas. I mean, not Thomas. Marcus talking to. We see a nice little scene where Marcus is talking to. Where Marcus is talking to Andy about how he was like in like kind of like like kind of like a foster care situation, but not a home like Andy's got. And then we go back to Thomas, and Thomas sees Thomas is about to head down because Marcus is looking for him, and then he runs. Then Thomas runs into Shelby, right? And then he runs into Shelby on. Then he runs into Shelby, so that's kind of interesting. And Shelby's like starts to ask like, "Oh, why are you here?" And it's like, "Oh, we're just here to drop off Grace." And then it looks like Shelby wants to know more, but he's a little hesitant to like fully ask for their help. Anyway, we see a little hesitant to ask for the help, and then they like why don't you all come in, right? And it's like, why don't you all come in? And we're going to do this ritual about putting your, like, and the ritual is pretty much, it's like an acceptance to the family. Not the thing that Verity did about making him stand on the haunted well. But putting your hand on, putting your hand in, like, paint and then putting your handprint on the wall, which symbolizes you're part of the family in Andy's mind. Right? Now, and then Father Thomas and Father Marcus meet back up again, and they're like, okay, it's like, I think something's going on down here. Something definitely is going on over on this island. And so Father Marcus is like, okay, I'll have a look around. And so he starts walking around the island. And he comes up to a fish and wildlife biologist, taking samples of this fish I can't remember what type of fish it was, but I do know the certain type of fish it was. It was a fish that is not supposed to be in like shallow water. That is like restricted to that is restricted to like the deeper parts of the ocean, right? And it was in some place it wasn't, and it's like he's like, oh, why is that there? And like, I don't know. And then the fish and wildlife biologist, he eventually told Marcus about. He eventually tells Marcus about everything else that's going on the island. But everything else that's going on the island. Also, how like they found out about the crows. Andy told him that. And then the fish and wildlife biologist also told him about how the several different farmers had had some of their animals give like birth defects to their cattle and like baby animals, right? Anyway, then they return and they're getting ready to leave. Right? They're getting ready to leave. They're getting ready to leave. Anyway, they're getting ready to leave. And they find. No, they don't find. They're getting ready to leave. And then they're getting ready to leave Andy's. Because, something obviously piqued their interest while they were there. Okay, now we go back to Father Bennett really fast. Father Bennett is sleeping, ironically, sleeping next to the possessed person. Now, he turns off the weird music they're playing. And, turning off the weird music they're playing, and he starts interrogating the demon, and the demon mentions Chicago, and it mentions Chicago, and it mentions Marcus and Thomas, and then it attacks Father Bennett, and then the girl who's helping Bennett, right, gets up and helps him, and she's like, "Okay, what's going on?" He's like, and that's what you get for pretty much interrogating the damn thing, right? And it said some interesting things because, like, apparently, they said how Father Bennett mentions to the girl that how Father Thomas and Father Marcus saved Reagan from integration in season 1, right? And it pissed off a lot of like other demons. So, but here's the thing, right? And how it pretty much started the war. Now, is the demon in Seattle going to be this exact same demon? The one that possessed Reagan? I don't know if it is or not, if it's wanting revenge. But if it is, It's being more bold. It's being way more bold than its MO. And what I mean by its MO is the mini in the prequel to The Exorcist or The Exorcist the beginning, whichever movie you prefer. A younger Father Merrin encountered this demon, right? And then this exact demon waited until Father Merrin was an old man and possessed Reagan. Then, after it got beat by Father Damien Karras in The Exorcist, right? And after Father Karras died in The Exorcist 3, because, I'm not going to get into all the lore right now, but the point is, this demon has a habit of waiting, because when young Father Merrin waited until he was an old man, and then waited until Reagan was an adult and possessed Reagan's daughter. It seems to be waiting. If the Seattle demon is this exact same demon, it seems to be changing its MO from the movies and from season 1. So, from waiting for Merrin when he was younger to The Exorcist to waiting when he was an old man, then waiting till The Exorcist season 1 when Reagan was an adult and had kids of her own. So it's waiting. So if it is the exact same one, it's changing its MO, like I said. Anyway, that's a little bit of an extra information for you guys. Okay. But anyway, Father Bennett tells everything to the girl. It's like, we pretty much need to go to Chicago and try to nab one of these higher level integrated people and try to get all the information we need to stop all the integrations from happening. Now we go back to Andy's house. At Andy's, we see Rose. She is in. We see Rose. She is in bed, and now we finally have proof. The fact that Rose is being in bed, we finally have proof, 100%, that there is at least a ghost on the island. But we all know it's a demon. A shadow person came into Rose's room and it looked like it was like getting on the bed and like trying to attack Grace or possess Grace. I mean, not Grace, Rose. I mean, Rose. My bad. Rose's bedroom, and was a shadow person came into Rose's bedroom and attacked Grace or did something to Grace. Right? I mean, not Rose. My bad. I'm keep saying Grace instead of Rose. And attacked and did something, but then she grabbed her cell phone and turned on the cell phone flashlight, and then it just disappeared. Right? Okay, now we're going to get to Grace. Because Grace is a little bit jealous. Right? Now here is a little bit jealous. Like Hope and all the other characters. Now here is the... And she conquers her fear about her not going out of the house fear and goes outside with Andy if Andy would agree to make Grace the favorite. So she agrees to go outside. And agrees to go outside and yeah. and she conquers her fear, and something strange is going on. Like Verity's like, yeah, I wonder what's going on. Where's Andy? Right? And Andy like pretty much go tucks Grace in because apparently she needs a nap. Now, here is where we get to something very interesting. At least I think it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay? Does. Now, here's your question. Does Grace exist, or has she existed? Or has she existed at all? Because Verity goes into Grace's room, or at least I presume it's Grace's room, and there is nobody in there, and it is completely covered in dust, and there's like a couple sandwiches, covered in mold and maggots. So, has Grace ever existed, or is the demon messing with Andy's mind? Messing with Andy's mind. I am not entirely too sure at this. I know it's definitely messing with Andy's mind, making him see something that is not there. Very, very interesting. Anyway, and then to pretty much to close out the episode, we see. Actually, no, I think Verity going into the room was to close out to the episode. But before that, we saw Father Thomas and Father Marcus saying, "Yeah, I think there is something here," and then have Father Marcus like, "Yeah, I pretty much believe in you because if you are speaking to God, because apparently I haven't, he hasn't even been giving me a sign at all." And then Father Marcus says, "Did God give me a friend, or a friend or a partner, or did he give me my replacement?" In Father Marcus. Anyway, guys, like I said, the episode pretty much ended with Verity finding out that Grace possibly never existed, or existed one point in time and died. Anyway, this is my review of The Exorcist Season 2, Episode 4. See you guys next week for my review of Episode 5 when it comes out, or in 2 weeks, because I thought I heard the previews say after the World Series. So after the World Series, I'm not much of a baseball fan, so I'm not exactly sure when the World Series is. Anyway, guys, that was my review for The Exorcist Season 2, Episode 4. Catch you later. Bye.